Okay, let's talk about eye health. Sisters, not twins. Hi everybody, my name is Ellie Igro. I am an eyeball person, a COA, or a certified ophthalmic assistant if you will. I am certified through JCAPO, which is the Joint Commission on Allied Health Personnel in Ophthalmology. Yes, that's a blanket. I'm sorry. I didn't think you'd want to see my boyfriend's clothing in the background. So today I want to talk to you about some basic eye maintenance that you can be doing for yourself. Eye maintenance is something that people don't generally talk about. It was new to me when I started in the ophthalmology world, and I started off at an optometry practice, so it seemed like something I should already know. But it wasn't. Who would have thought? Why should we have a basic eye maintenance routine? I mean, your eyes are basically the same as the rest of your body. You maintain your body by showering, you maintain your skin by washing your face, and you should maintain your eyes as well. If anything, your eyes are probably one of the best things you could probably maintain for yourself. Eyelids are just like the rest of your skin. You can have oily eyelids, you can have dry eyelids, you can have a combination, you can have oily and dry. And there are a lot of problems that come along with both kinds of eyelids. So let's talk about the how. How are we supposed to maintain our eyelids? Lord, tell me. The first thing you can do to maintain your eyelids is to wash them. That sounds so basic, but there are so many people that don't. You want to wash your eyelids generally with a mild soap, or even some of the doctors that I work with recommend baby shampoo as an alternative just because it's a very mild detergent. It'll help get the oils off of your skin without completely stripping it. You can do this once or twice a day depending on how oily or dry your skin is. And when you do this, you really want to use separate washcloths or separate cotton pads for each eye. You do not want to contaminate one eye with the bacteria from the other. That's very important. Another thing that you can use is hypochlorous acid. This is a mild acid. It's a mild astringent that helps to reduce the amount of bacteria located on the eyelids. The next thing you can do is the frequent use of artificial tears. People don't use artificial tears as much as they should, which is mind-boggling to me because I use them all the time. And I have for a very long time, probably even before I started in the eye world about 7 years ago. But artificial tears come in tiny little bottles or sometimes even little droppers. You can take the top off, put the drop in, and then put the top back on and save them for the rest of the day. One big thing to note is if you're using preservative-free artificial tears, which is kind of becoming the industry standard, you do not want to use these after 24 hours. So you open it up, 24 hours later they should be in the trash. It's very important because there are no preservatives. They will go bad and they will start to fester any kind of bacteria that get in there. The next thing I want to talk about are warm compresses. Warm compresses are exactly how it sounds. You take something warm, you put them on your eyeballs, bada bing, bada boom. That was awful. They come in wet or dry, and studies show that dry compresses do tend to work a little more efficiently than wet compresses, but trust me, all of my doctors would agree, if you're doing them, they're happy. Most people don't do this, and it's frustrating. As someone who works in the industry and as someone who does it for myself, I know that they are effective, and I know that they can really help, but a lot of people just can't be bothered. For a warm compress, what a lot of people will do is they'll just take a rag, wet it with some water, they'll pop it in the microwave for a couple seconds, and then as long as it's safe to the touch, you can put that on your eyes. They also have these tiny little eye bags. This is not sponsored. The insert comes out of and you can pop this in the microwave. There are all kinds of different little warnings. You want to be very careful when you're doing this. You can burn your eyelids, but as long as the compress is, not scalding your skin, you're fine. So how often should we be using warm compresses? Most doctors will say they'd be happy with, once every couple of days. I generally do mine once a day. That's part of my bedtime routine. I wash my face, I brush my teeth, and then I heat up my warm compress to lay in bed. This is very important to do if you do have oily skin and oily eyelids, because what happens is the glands inside your eye, they can get clogged up, whether due to just oil, dirt, debris, makeup especially. So you really want to make sure that you're getting all that gunk out. Most specialists will say that you should use a warm compress in conjunction with eyelid massages. When you're massaging your eyelid, you do your warm compress and then you massage gently from top to bottom, trying to smush out all of the junk that's in your eyelids, and from the bottom you go upwards. You want to do gentle circular motions, and you do not want to be pressing on the eye. You just want to be applying gentle pressure to the skin. The last thing we can talk about in routine maintenance would be to remove your makeup. This is very basic, but you'd be surprised how many people don't. At the first optometry practice that I worked at, there were 3 different women that told me that they never used to remove their mascara. They would sleep in it for days. And now they're wishing that they hadn't, because they've now experienced eyelash loss or eyelash shortening. And that's just like any hair follicle would. If it's constantly being pulled on or distressed, it's just going to die off. We see this quite often in the field. Please make sure you're removing your makeup. I know most of y'all out here that are watching this video probably also watch Hyram, and what he says goes as well. When you're wearing makeup, you really also always want to double cleanse your skin, and this goes for the eyes as well. You want to make sure that all amounts of that makeup is off of your face before you go to bed at night. So let's talk about some other ways that we can go about helping our eyes in the long run. So this is not a daily routine, this is just kind of a lifestyle change. So the biggest thing that you can do for yourself and for your eyes is eat a healthy, balanced diet. The biggest thing that we're looking for when it comes to the eyes are vitamin A and antioxidants that can really help fight different eye diseases, different problems. We'll get into that in another video. Don't rub your eyes. Do you hear me? Don't rub your eyes. Get those hands away from that face. I'm like a gremlin. Don't rub your eyes. Really, don't rub your eyes. Prolonged eye rubbing has been shown to cause thinning of the cornea in susceptible individuals and can lead to a disease that's very serious called keratoconus. Keratoconus is something that I work very closely with, and it's something that I kind of want to devote its own video to when we get to talking about corneas, because it's quite a large topic and there's a lot that goes into it. But just know that keratoconus is not something you want to deal with. And then there's the very basic washing with hands. You always want to wash your hands before you touch your eyes. If you're a contact lens wearer, you should be washing your hands every time you put your contacts in, or before you put your contacts in, and before you take your contacts out. This is super important, especially for contact lens wearers. Contact lenses are like tiny little sponges, and that's another thing I want to talk about in its own video and go into detail about the things you should be cautious of when wearing contact lenses. But again, another video. Who would have thought? Another thing you can do to help protect your eyes is to limit sun exposure. Now this should be nothing new to anybody. We've been told since we were young that we need to wear sunglasses outside and protect our eyes. And the main reason is that UV damage has been shown to lead to all kinds of different health problems, including age-related macular degeneration and cataracts. A lot of things nowadays are already UV protected. Most glasses that are polycarbonate, which is recommended for people who only have one eye, all children, things like that. It's a thinner, more lightweight material, and it's much more shatter resistant than glass or plastic. Most car windows or windshields or sunlights that you have, sun windows, what are those called? Are already UV protected as well. So that's why if you have transitional glasses lenses, you go out into the sun, they turn dark, but you get in your car and they lighten back up again. That's because you're not getting the UV from the sun in order to have the chemical reaction inside the lens to make it darken. And the last thing we'll talk about is slightly controversial. And the reason it's controversial is because you see it quite everywhere. But there are differing opinions, so I do want to talk about that, and I do want to hit on this subject while we're here. Might as well. We're in quarantine. What else can we do? So the last thing we're talking about is that dreaded UV exposure. No, it's not. We already talked about that. So the last thing we're going to talk about is that dreaded blue light exposure. I'm sure most of you out there have seen ads online for blue light blocking glasses. Their claims of helping prevent eye fatigue, improving your sleeping patterns, and helping to prevent eye diseases. Now, blue light is a type of UV. It is emitted from most LEDs, flat screen TVs. Most electronics nowadays do emit some type of blue light. Things you can do to help yourself when it comes to blue light is take a supplement of lutein and zeaxanthin. Zeaxanthin and lutein are nutrients that are not naturally made in the body, but can be introduced via foods like leafy green substances such as cooked kale and spinach, or you can get them in a vitamin form. A lot of the retinal doctors that I work with tend to recommend vitamins like Focus or the AREDS 2 vitamins, which have shown to help slow the progression of macular problems such as macular degeneration. The reason this topic is so controversial is because there really are doctors on two ends of the spectrum here. You have doctors that fully wholeheartedly believe in blue light blocking glasses, and then you have doctors who think there are other ways that you can protect yourself. The AAO, or the American Academy of Ophthalmology, does not endorse blue light blocking glasses. They say that how we use our electronics is more detrimental than the light that they emit. They state that there is a lack of high quality evidence to support the claim that blue light blocking glasses do anything for you. And instead they offer the 20-20-20 rule. For every 20 minutes you spend on an electronic device, you should look away at something that's about 20 feet away for at least 20 seconds to help your eyes really reset and recalibrate, and then you can go back to whatever you were doing before. Eye fatigue is huge in the world today. Let's face it, most of us work on electronics. We either work on a computer or you work on a tablet or a cell phone. We're kind of stuck with our technology at this point, and it's very helpful, it is. But a lot of people do experience eye fatigue and headaches throughout the day, especially as you get older in age, when you come to that presbyopia time of your life where you're starting to need reading glasses but kinda not. It's really, really frustrating. So what are some things you can do to help prevent eye fatigue, or at least lessen the effects of eye fatigue on you? The AAO recommends sitting at least 2 feet away from any monitor or any screen. They generally recommend putting your screen in a downward position so that you're looking down at what you're viewing, and this will help to encourage you to blink. There are matte filters that you can get for screens to help reduce the glare, and using artificial tears to make sure your eyes are healthy. Well, I don't know if that's gonna change a thing. Using artificial tears to make sure your eyes are wet is very, very important. Most people don't realize when they're working on a screen or an electronic device of some sort that when they're engaged in something, whether it's reading, playing video games, watching a movie, you're not blinking as much. You're not thinking about that. And generally you don't think about blinking, but when you're already engaged in something, it's like your brain just kind of puts that on the back burner. It happens time and time again, especially nowadays with kids playing video games, doing so much on their cellular devices. And then it's very important to talk about if you're having ongoing eye fatigue, headaches, eye straining, things like that, make sure to get it checked out. That's what we're here for. We want to make sure that your eyes are taken care of. And Although generally most eye fatigue is caused by the way we use our devices, there can be other factors involved that an eye doctor can help sniff out the problem. So that's everything for today's video, guys. I hope that if you enjoyed this video or you learned something new, that you'll hit that like button and subscribe for more eye-related content. And until the next video, I'll see you then. This is a 24-minute video and most of it has been me sighing.